Okay, so one of the key things I think to adding to your safety would be discuss what you're going to do when you get to the anchor with your belayer before you leave the ground. And that way the belayer has an idea why it's taking you so long, or has an expectation of what their job is or what they're going to do. So if you're planning on getting lowered and your belayer thinks you're going to wrap, he may just take you off belay. And you know, there's quite a few accidents happen where that's exactly what happened, and you lean back and you're not on belay, you're expecting to be on belay. So communicate with your belayer. All right, so I just climbed this sport route. If you're wondering, you know, what grades I climb, well, I can climb easy 513. I just can't find any. But here I am. I'm at this at my station, and I got these two chain ends, which is really, you know, a pretty common construction for an anchor. It's cheap, and it's cheap. Did I say it was cheap? So I climb up here. The first thing I got to do, I may do is, because I'm going to be messing around a little bit here first, is I might just throw the draw in just so that I don't, if I do slip or mess up, I'm not going to go flying down to wherever the last bolt was and past it. Now I'm going to come up here. Quite often what I'll do, if I know I'm going to deal with changing over the station, is I'll take a sewn sling that I'll carry with me just for this job. Then I'll girth hitch it through my harness, take the locking carabiner, the one locking carabiner that I always carry just for this job, and then I'll come on up here and I'll clip in somewhere, but not into the end of the chain, because I'm going to want to feed my rope through there. Then I'll lock it. Now the thing is too, I'm just hanging off of one bolt. I'm not crazy about that. So most of the time I'll just take a spare quick link or a couple of carabiners, and I'll connect these chains together so that I can use the other bolt as a backup. Okay, I'm feeling pretty good about that right now. Another alternative for me would be to hook up 2 carabiners or 2 quick draws, and I'll clip myself into that. But in this case, we're just going to use this sewn runner that we have with us, right? So now I'm going to have to untie from my rope here and feed it through the chain ends, because it's not big enough for me to stick a biter rope through. This is a real bummer, because I really like feeding the chain ends or the bite through. So in this case, the first thing that I do is I take some rope out, bang, and I take a quick draw or a carabiner, and I tie my rope off with a clove hitch or figure 8 on a bite, and I clip it off to the anchor, because I don't want to, I'm untying this now. I don't want to drop my rope, because that's going to be damn embarrassing if I did. Somebody would have to come up and get me. And then they'd know what a punter I am. And they may not say it to my face, but you can be sure there's going to be a lot of people telling the story about this punter that dropped his rope up at the crag. So now I want to take my end, feed it through here, and I have the choice of either tying back in, or if I have a second locking carabiner, I could put an 8 on a bite. But since I don't have another locking carabiner, see, I could hook a locking carabiner, clip into my belay loop, lock it off, and get myself lowered. But since I don't have that, I'll just retie in. Now I have to be really careful when I'm doing this, because I'm off the ground and I don't want to get things confused. So double check everything, right? As always, in lowering and anchors and stuff like that, don't be had. Check your harness, your anchor, and your device. In this case, I don't have a device. My partner has it. There, I've tied back in. Just a little overhand there. Now, I can take this off. Yell down to my partner, okay, I'm ready to lower. Right, and when I feel the rope come tight like that, I'll just move up and I feel it tight and he's holding me. Then I can clean up my station and get ready to lower. So do that and get that and that. And here we go. Take my locking carabiner. Okay, lower. And away I'd go. So quite often when I know that I'm going to have to deal with this sort of setup, or I'm going to be lowering off and I'm going to have to transfer my weight to the anchor, whatever kind of anchor it is, I'll carry a sewn sling with me, just around my shoulders, and I girth hitch it through the belay loop on my harness. So I girth hitch, it's quite strong enough because it's only holding body weight. And then I take the locking carabiner that I have just for this purpose, take it in, and then attach it to the anchor.